Hi everyone, my name is Angelica and thank you for joining me at the writer's table with This is Improv. Today we're going to be talking about writing a series. So why would we write a series when we're writing sketches? Well, sometimes we fall in love with a character, sometimes we fall in love with a story that our characters could go through, and we really want to flush it out. Whereas if we're just writing a single sketch, we only have about 5 minutes or less to get that character and their whole life out, or all of their issues. With a series, we get to really see where things go, how characters interact with different ideas or different problems that they encounter, or where the story goes. What is a series? Today we're going to focus on 2 styles of a series, and one is going to be sitcom style and the other is going to be storyline style. First of all, the sitcom. Sitcom stands for situational comedy. Pretty straightforward, right? We're putting different characters or an environment through different situations. This is really where improvisers stand solid because it's really what we learn to do. When you go out and you improvise, usually you have a go-to character or your troupe knows you're known for this style of character. Well, this helps you really work through that character. Think about Wayne's World. You have Wayne interviewing different people or talking about different things as his character. Think also about The Office. It's different situations, different things that could happen within that office environment with well-known characters who are also going through different situations. Now, let's talk about storyline style. Storyline style really looks at what is going on in that story, what's going on with the characters and how they develop. How do these people progress through this situation that's going on? So you might think about something like, right now I'm watching The Sopranos, so something like The Sopranos where it's looking at this family or this character and seeing how they really change and progress. It's funny because in The Sopranos, there's actually an episode where one of the characters is trying to write a screenplay and he keeps talking about his character arc.
Writing books that every character has an arc. You understand? Like everybody starts out somewhere and they do something gets done to them, changes their life. That's called their arc.
But it hasn't really gone anywhere, and it's because it's the beginning of the story. But we'll find out because the story is continuing and his story doesn't necessarily end until, well, the writers end it. So I'll see where that goes. How do you write for these 2 different types of styles? I'm going to briefly go over what to focus on when you're writing for these styles, and in future episodes I'll really hone in on and focus on each style individually so you get an idea of what to do. But to keep it simple for now, talking about sitcom style. When you're writing sitcom style, you really want to focus on 2 things that we've talked about before, and that is the who and the where. And those things are going to be the ones that are your core. Those are the things that you're going to hold on to. So thinking about something like Cheers. Cheers is definitely a situational comedy. So you have well-known characters and they're in a bar. And you know these characters and you get to understand their mechanics and you get to understand they're always going to be at the bar. What changes is the situations that they go through as characters or the things that happen because they're in a bar. And those are the things that you get to play with. You get to add in your own game to those scenes or to those characters and to that environment. So when you're writing for a series, when you're holding a longer type of an idea, you're holding on to those foundations and you're running with the game. So let's say that I was writing for Cheers, and this has probably been written before. Maybe you have Sam and Diane. They found this drink, and the drink, it's a beer, and it looks like it was freshly made, but they don't know who made it. And underneath is a note that says, "I made this for you." So that might be a fight. And knowing Diane and Sam's dynamic, which they usually clash a lot and they both have their own ego. Diane thinks she's the smartest person alive and Sam thinks he's the hottest person alive. So Diane might think, oh, someone thought that I had a wonderful conversation with them, so this note is definitely for me. And then Sam comes up and he says, oh no, there was this girl looking at me and she definitely made this drink for me. And so the whole episode can be a betting competition or some kind of way to see who the drink was made for. And at the end, maybe Cliff comes up and he's like, oh, did you guys see my beer? I had someone on my route say they were going to cover my beer because I do such a good job as the mailman. And that's the end of the scene. So knowing those characters and knowing the environment that you're playing with makes it easier to play, and it makes it a little bit more fun for the audience to see the interactions and get to know the interactions of the characters. So when you're talking about a situational comedy, what you're going to want to hold on to, remember, is the who and the where. Then you get to play around with the what. Now let's talk about the storyline. So a storyline, you're really going to want to focus on the what that's going on. What is going on in these people's lives? The who and the where almost comes secondary. You do have those major characters and you do usually have that major location, but you have one running what. You want to think about that like your plot arch. So you have this plot arch and it's, instead of spanning just about 5 minutes, it's going to span for a whole series until the ending. So we're going to think about something like The Good Place. So in The Good Place, we had a clear beginning, middle, and end to that story. And the writers of The Good Place even decided to end it at a certain place, even though it got such huge audience appeal, because they knew that they wanted a clear beginning, middle, and end to their story that they had planned out already. So that's a great example. So how do you write different episodes for that? Well, the easiest way to think about it is creating miniature plot arches within that major arch. So for each episode is going to get, or each sketch or each scene is going to get its own individual plot arch that's going to have those minor things that happen, but overall it has to fit into that major plot arch. So that's how you write for a series. We talked a little bit about the sitcom style and we talked a little bit about the storyline style. I hope it helps you guys out. And if ever, feel free to message me with questions. I'd be happy to take them. We're also offering online improv classes and writing classes. So make sure to stay tuned and ask about those as well. For more videos about improv and about writing, subscribe to the channel or like us so you get updated when we have new things to put out. I look forward to seeing you next week. Thank you for joining me at the writer's table. My name is Angelica and I'm with This is Improv.